Welcome to the Mr. Bobcats podcast. I'm your host, Will.
Your host, Chris.
Guest Patrick.
Yes, this is our guest, Patrick. So, final score of today's game against the Pistons, 111-99. Hornets lose. We had host Chris in attendance at the game. He's fired up, ready to go.
Dude, we struggled today. Like, that was just a sloppy performance all around. Dude, I'm just gonna get straight to it. The first two people I want to talk about is Mark Williams and Nick Richards. That was embarrassing. Outplayed by Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart, like, come on, man. Not to mention the fact that, Mark Williams and Nick Richards, I believe, almost combined 40 minutes and combined 2 points. They had a combined 5 rebounds. LaMelo had 9 rebounds by himself. Hayward had 9 rebounds by himself. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And another thing, they both got into heavy foul trouble, with Mark Williams having 5 fouls heading into the fourth quarter and Nick Richards having 4. Another thing is PJ fouling out, 6 fouls and ejection. I think personally, Brandon Miller needs to start getting to that starting lineup. Brandon Miller is just that guy out there. He was all over the place. Defense, offense.
Yeah, he's got that aura. Jalen Duren, he was a Hornet on draft night, and then they traded him for Mark Williams. I knew he was going to be better than Mark Williams.
We're so pissed. We don't even want to talk about the stats because, do we even want to mention our stats for this game? Rozier 0 for 7 from 3, 20 points. Hayward 19 points on 6 of 15. Brandon Miller, probably our best scorer this game, efficiency-wise, 17 points. No one on our team shot above 50%, and we shot 37.5 as a team. LaMelo 4 17, 2 of 7 from 3, 20 points. It got to the free throw line a lot, which is something we were looking for. PJ Washington 13 points, obviously a downgrade from last game. Fouled out, ejected. So it's definitely another scrappy game. I'd say the Pistons, that was a full team effort. We got killed by Alec Burks.
LaMelo did attack the basket a lot more today than he did 2 days ago against the Hawks. I did notice that difference today. The amount of times we stepped out of bounds, LaMelo had it twice, Brandon Miller did it once, Gordon Hayward did it once, and I'm like, dude, you just can't stay in bounds?
At least he was getting some attempts in the paint, getting to the rim and drawing contact, so that was good. I thought our perimeter team defense was great. You had that, and then our interior defense with Mark Williams and Nick Richards. They got their ass eaten out by Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. Also, the Pistons had 23 turnovers to our 18. The key here was they out-rebounded us 65-49. How can we win games if shots aren't going down? Because this is a game where we really had to muck it up with our defense. But if we're not getting second chance opportunities, no rebounds, you play as well as you can on defense. How do you scrape out wins like this if we're struggling?
Converting on those turnovers. When I was watching it, they would just go down the floor, and then they would just look like they had no plan on how to attack the rim when they're down there. And then it's just playing hot potato and then pass it, and then you just eventually all the Pistons get back, and then it's just a normal look, and you don't really get to have that addition or have that power of having an extra guy down there on a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2. Had to be converting those.
How about grabbing a damn rebound? I've never seen the ball go everywhere else except a Hornets player's hand. It's like Torian Prince said, go grab the ball, counts as a rebound. Just do that. My word. Terry Rozier, holy moly, 0 for 7 from 3. And did you see some of the 3-pointers he's taking? He's just chucking it up.
I had my reaction. Yeah, I had a video reaction of him hitting a 3 in the fourth.
Up to Terry.
Stroke it, gang! Stroke it, gang! Stroke it, gang! Boo! Not a 3. I think it was a long 2. What are our initial reactions on his early offensive struggles? And even though he improved tonight getting to the rim, do we think his shot just isn't there yet? Do we think he needs to get his legs underneath him, or is he just not taking the quality shots that we look for him to take?
I feel like he's never really going to be that guy. Give Brandon Miller some more quality depth pieces to build around him, because I feel like he could be the real future for us and not LaMelo. And
you're saying we need to go through another rebuild. Is that what you're saying?
Also, that's not what I asked.
No, it's never going to get better.
I said I want to trade him. What are we even trading for? A bag of Doritos? To talk about his shot, he needs to mature. Not to mention that he airballed a 3-pointer today. Start being smart with the basketball.
Next thing I want to talk about is Brandon Miller. He had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, and also was kind of getting into foul trouble. But I think that's almost an inevitable at this point with Brandon Miller with the foul trouble. But I think he was our most efficient scorer. He shot 46.2%, which sadly was the best on the team, and he had one of the best plus minuses. How do we plan to get him more integrated on offense? Is it as simple as him just going into the starting lineup replacing Hayward, or do we need to just run more plays for him? Because I feel like a lot of his baskets are energy baskets. He's run the floor, he's getting dunks, he's spawning up for open threes. But how do we think of him maybe being a ball handler? Because he did have 4 assists, so I feel like he should be getting the ball more. But what do we think about that?
I feel like, yeah, running more plays for him, and then also just getting him in that starting lineup, maybe over Washington, and when Bridges comes back, I feel like can be him. Probably can be like LaMelo, Rozier, him, Bridges, and then you can even run Washington at the 5, depending on the lineup, or Williams, because he's probably the best shooter we have on the team right now, and that is something that we need, especially in today's NBA. But yeah, I would just say just get him in the starting lineup and obviously get more plays.
Yeah, you mentioned replacing Hayward. As much as I'd love to do that, we can't. We pay him $30 million a season. He needs to be starting.
With that logic, Nick Batum should start at every game.
Okay, and he did, and he would average 3 points. That's why he got moved to the bench. So, I'd say he needs to replace Washington. Again, Washington had a good performance last time out against the Hawks. Brandon Miller is really starting to show his confidence, even though it's still the early on in the season. We just began, second game in, but he's showing his confidence that he wants the basketball. He can take those shots that we need, go to the basket. The whole thing about his fouls, though, I really think he gets the fouls because he's a very aggressive player. He loves to get his hands in there and try to strip that basketball out of the opponents, and I love it. It kind of gives me like a big comparison here, but like Kawhi Leonard, for example. Kawhi Leonard just loves to put his hands in there, like he just boom, 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 easy steals.
But do we trust him replacing Washington and putting Hayward at the 4? Because I feel like Miller honestly is more of a hybrid 2-3.
Hell, I would even say that Miller can go at the 2 if Rozier's struggling.
I think the smartest thing to do is to move Brandon Miller into the starting lineup over Rozier, because we don't have a lot of guard depth on our bench anyways. I mean, right now we're playing Theo Maledon. I think bring Brandon Miller into the starting lineup, you get even more length. Even if there's not much mobility, you have wingspan.
I yelled to Steve Clifford, let's sub Maledon, please. I can't watch him, dude. I'm sorry. It's like watching.
I mean, he wasn't that bad, but it's like, what are you gonna get with Theo Maledon? Like,
all right,
it's just like.
Well, moving on. Last question. I want to talk about the game regarding Mark Williams. If he's struggling like this against Duren and Isaiah Stewart, I mean, PJ Washington wasn't really helping him down there, because in this game it seemed like Isaiah Stewart was just a spot up 3-point shooter, but on defense they're obviously they're very physical players. But if he's struggling against Duren and Isaiah Stewart going forward, what do we expect when he's playing people like Jokic and Embiid? Like, how is he going to hold up against these players?
He won't. He's going to get killed. And I mean, sometimes it seems when we play the Sixers, we give them a good game, and then sometimes we even win. So who knows? But I mean, I don't know. Just unless we get a dominant center in the draft, or we trade for every year we were linked with Miles Turner, and then we never trade for him, and then I feel like that ship's kind of sailed. But especially now, because I don't really see the assets that we have being worth trading for him, unless we trade him like Mark Williams and I don't know, a second round pick. But I don't know. I just feel like you can't really do anything.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
That ship has sailed. I think Mark Williams has the capability. Obviously, he struggled tonight. I'm just hoping that it was a bit of a fluke. But obviously, Embiid, Jokic, they're just on different levels. So,
yeah, I don't think anybody in the league
he may struggle. He may struggle, but I think he will also need help. If he's starting alongside PJ Washington, Washington's got to do better to help him, because he struggled tonight and Washington struggled to help,
Yeah.
and even off the bench, Nick Richards struggled big time.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still waiting on Nick Richards to get his first goaltending.
Yeah.
Averaged one of those a game last season.
Alright. So, moving on to next game, 'cause that's all we can do. We play the Nets at home. This will be the last home game of our 3-game homestand to start the season. But our predictions on the Nets versus Hornets games, they just lost a heartbreaker against the Mavericks. Luka just hit some crazy-ish.
I say Hornets win by 3.
I hate going against the Hornets, but I think the Nets will take this one.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I
rescind my prediction because I forgot about Mikal Bridges. I'm gonna say the Nets win by 5.
I'm gonna say Hornets win. I think LaMelo finally makes his shots. I think we're gonna have our best 3-point shooting game of the season so far. That's all we got, guys. Thank you for turning. Thank you for turning.
Thank you for joining us on Mr. Pod. Oh, fuck.
Thank you for joining us on Miss the Bobcats podcast, and
Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Bobcats podcast. I'm your host, Will.
It was Chris.
yes, Pat.
We'll see you next game.